Happy Labor Day, everybody. Hope everybody is doing great today. This is Lee Godbold with Junk Removal Authority. Check us out on junkra.com. It is Labor Day. I apologize for my sunglass tan. I know I'm not trying to imitate a raccoon here, but I'll take the sunglass tan or sunburn. Hell, this is a sunburn. This ain't just a tan. So I don't have to stare in the sun when I'm sitting down on the beach this weekend. So I got a lot of great thinking done at the beach, some great planning. We're kind of doing a little bit of a shift here. Long term though, everything we're doing with JRA is still going to keep right on rolling. But we got something else that's coming. It's going to really change how service providers start their business, grow their business, get trained in their business, and get business. It's connecting business owners with consumers, getting jobs booked for them, not leads but jobs. There's a very huge, humongous plan in the works and large investment that's got to be made on it that we're willing to make because we don't dabble here at JRA. Or with whatever this next company is about to be called. We don't dabble. There's no dabbling here. So what I want to talk today about everybody is just that. Let's freaking quit dabbling. Let's just get started. And I'm talking to every single one of you out there that's been researching, has been watching my videos and been researching junk removal, watching other videos and on internet forums and taking business courses. And you know, you've been doing this for a year. Some of y'all have been doing it for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You've been thinking about doing it. And you need to consume a lot of information. You need to gather and consume videos, articles, information on junkra.com, business information, legal information, accounting information. You need to understand that stuff, but you get to a certain point when you know it. And the next step to up your knowledge is going to be out there and get the hell started. And that's what a lot of people lack. You've got to get going. If you don't ever start, then you're going to be somebody that just sits there and you research and research and research, and before you know it, it's been 5 or 10 years has passed. You never pulled the trigger, or more than likely, you'll research, and then after a year or 2 years, you'll lose interest and you'll never pursue that. You'll leave something on the table that could have been great. You'll ignore that. You won't try it out. And you'll never know, would you have made that a success? Instead, you'll keep doing the same exact thing you've been doing. And we all know if we keep doing the same exact stuff we've been doing, we're going to get the same exact results we've been getting. If you're not happy with where you are now, you need to make a change. Continually doing what you're doing isn't going to lead you to where you want to be. So far too often people gather too much information and they never get started. I had a little bit of the opposite problem early on in business. I would get I'd get some information, then I'd run out there and I'd freaking start. And I would make a bunch of mistakes and I'd learn from mistakes and all that was great, but if there was an easier way, I didn't pursue it. There is an easier way. So those of you out there getting information, you're doing great. You're probably doing a lot better than I am, but you've got to make that leap. You've got to grow. You got to get some balls, and you got to go out there and you got to try. For example, we owned a paper shredding company shortly after we started our junk removal service. We got it to where I was making a little bit of money or whatever, not a lot. We were grossing, I don't know, at that point maybe a few $100,000 a year, something like that. We might have been making $60K, something, bringing home about $60,000 or something. So nothing really to brag about. And we figured, all right, well, we got this junk removal figured out. We're doing well. I don't know. I think at the time, maybe we thought we'd peaked. I don't think we thought we'd peaked. I think we knew there was more money to come, but we thought starting another business while simultaneously running still an infant junk removal company would not be difficult. And we were gravely mistaken. So we got into shredding, and I talk about not dabbling. We dabbled in shredding. So we bought a truck, a used truck, outdated technology. It was slow as hell. It was an old International, I think it's 4700 model International. But the damn truck wouldn't run 50 miles an hour down the highway. It sounded good. It was no power for the weight of that vehicle, especially with you had a full load of paper. I mean, you figure that we probably could get, probably had 60 cubic yards or maybe 80, probably 80 cubic yards of paper shredded paper back there. And think about how much, that weighs 80 cubic yards of paper. And that truck would just be so slow. So we got a truck that wasn't quite right. We only spent about 8K on it. It was slow to shred. It would jam somewhat easier, a lot easier than later technology shredders. And we didn't go out and get a HEPA certification, so we needed that. There's a lot of business we couldn't get because we didn't get the HEPA certification because we didn't want to spend the money on it. And we didn't have a salesperson. You need to, for a business like that, business to business sales, you have to have a sales staff. We didn't know anything about sales staff at the time. We didn't know hardly anything about sales. So we dabbled in it. We did it for about a year and a half, and we were lucky enough. We had a couple accounts we'd gotten. We sold the truck and a few accounts to another local shredding company and got most of our money back out in it. We lost a little bit of money, but we could have made that business successful had we waited a few years after, like for example, now instead of starting JRA, if we'd gone out and started a shredding business, we could have made a shredding company successful. But that doesn't interest me right now. Starting another junk removal business doesn't interest me right now. I've gone from running a junk removal business to where that really excited me to now I've got a goal, I've got a vision, I want to make an impact a lot larger than a paper shredding company or junk removal business or anything like that can make. We've got a great concept now. We're about to sink a bunch of money into it to make it grow. We're about to hire a lot of people. Before we have a tremendous number of sales, we're about to hire about 3 more people. That are going to cost a pretty good amount of money. We're about to build some software, some scheduling software that could easily run $50,000 to $100,000 plus to build. So, and I can't go into too many details right now because we want to get most of this together and then blast it out. Kind of a finished product, pretty much ready to go. Not a finished product, but a usable product, a pretty good product, something that we're going to continually make investments on over time. Because again, guys, we don't dabble. You shouldn't dabble either. But the main thing is you've got to get started. You got to get started. It is better to get started and make a few mistakes than plan every move, run through every scenario, every positive, every negative that can occur, and what you're going to do. If you need planning, but don't overplan. Don't get analysis paralysis. If you plan out, one, you're never going to anticipate everything that can happen in your business, so a lot of what you're doing is wasting time. Number 2, if you never get out there and get started, there's no reason to have done all this planning. It was for naught. It was wasted. So get out there, get going. You're going to learn more from doing than you will from all the research in the world, all the articles you're reading online, all the free research you're reading online, all the videos you're watching online. They're helpful, but it's not a complete program, and it's not getting out there and getting everything done yourself. So one thing I'm gonna mention, this is an example, and I don't watch much of his stuff, but I keep up with what's going on. The guy down in Dallas, another YouTuber, DFW Junk Guys. I think he's got 3,000 some subscribers or something like that. I'm pretty. Him and I's philosophy on junk removal is a completely opposite. Him and I's philosophy on life is probably opposite. Him and I's philosophy on business size, on business is likely completely opposite. I'm not saying his is, well, his is wrong. I am saying his is wrong. If I disagree with it, it's wrong. But that being said, there's a percentage of business owners, there's a percentage of prospective junk removal business owners that his side resonates with, that no matter how much I talk about big numbers, spending a lot of money on advertising, hiring people, getting off the truck, no matter how much I say that stuff, it's not going to sway them. It's not going to sway them. They don't think that way. So somebody like the DFW guy is probably right for that individual. And I'm probably not. But somebody out there, if you're thinking out there, if this stuff that I'm saying, and you're seeing it, you're believing it, you're like, yeah, that's me. That's how I think. I want something big. I want something I can sell. I don't want to settle for just a decent job. I don't want to settle for just a $50,000 a year job. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making. Well, yeah, I am. You shouldn't make just $50,000 a year if you're going out and doing and starting your own business. But for those of you that want to make that, for those of you that deem that to be successful, for those of you that deem that you can go out and you make $50,000 a year and you can feel like you're secure, feel like that you're going to spend time with your family and do all the kind of stuff you want to do, then maybe that's your route. Maybe that's the information you need. You need to get out there and get started. If you like the DFW guy, you need to get started. If you like my stuff, you need to get started. You need to start with purchasing a $7,500 startup package, probably getting a lot of information. If you're still not going to pull the trigger on $100,000 plus of information, $100,000 worth of mistakes will probably be solved by this $7,500 package. If you're not going to spend the money on that, well, watch our videos, read our information, get out there and just do what we did. Get started. So a lot of headaches can be removed working directly with us. Some of you just ain't gonna spend the money, and that's fine. Get out there and get started. And then once you get out there and get started, if you've got questions, if you're running into some snags, and you then want to come to us, great. You don't have to be a brand new startup to work with us. We certainly can bring you a lot of business with pay per job as well. You got to get started. One thing the DFW guy is doing right is this junk removal summit thing that he's putting together. No, I'm not going to be there. No, I won't even consider going to it. But I'm gonna be around people that think on the level I am. And some people are going to be very negative about this. I'll probably get some down arrows about this, which is great. Hey, thumbs up me if you like these videos, thumbs down me if you don't. But I'm not going to put myself, I'm not around people that think on a completely lower level than I think. And, the people that listen to him, the people that are likely going to attend that, just don't think on the same level that I think. And listen, I'm always going to tell everything like I see it, like I believe, what my feelings and thoughts are, and that is my feelings and thoughts. And that probably will upset a few people right there by saying that, but it's just not the same deal. But I'm going to give that guy credit. He is getting out there and he's getting started. There's been another group talking about putting together a summit. Even in years past, there's been a summit or convention or whatever, and it's a lot of talk and nothing really ever comes together. He's proven my point. He's just freaking doing it. He's just like, yeah, let's do a summit. Let's do it. And I don't think he's charging anything, which I think is ludicrous. But, I'm not telling, none of us are out there hauling junk for free, and he's not telling people to haul junk for free, and I'm not telling people to haul junk for free. So, I don't know as if he has another angle either. I don't think he does. He might have some information out there on starting some sort of a junk guys. He's not franchised. I don't know what he's doing. I think there's other junk guys appearing out there. Maybe he has something out there, or he's got some sort of angle for doing a website for him or something. I don't know. I think it's crazy he's doing it for free because if he's going to do it right, he's going to have some money in it. And but then again, he's just getting started. It's right there at his house. He's not having to stay at a hotel room or anything, so he's getting started. So good for him. And if it's a success, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't charge next year and maybe have a slightly larger event. But he's getting out there. He's going to start. He's going to learn some stuff on this. There's going to be some mistakes made, for sure. We will do a convention at some point. People have asked me about it, and it's going to be probably not next year, maybe late next year, but probably not next year. It's going to be probably 2020 or after, and it might just not be junk removal. There could be some other services and all that are provided. Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. If we do a convention, it ain't going to be free. Why? Because we're going to do a damn good job. It's going to be tremendous. We're either going to do it, we might do it in Charlotte. That would be the small thinking or reasonable thinking. So we probably ain't going to do Charlotte. They probably ain't going to be Charlotte. We'll probably do an Orlando or Vegas, Miami, something like that. It will not be free. I don't know what it would be yet because we hadn't thought about it, but for us to put a convention together, it's going to have a lot of industry vendors. It's going to have multiple experts in junk removal and in business giving seminars. It's going to have pretty, like I said, just a lot of vendors, great education. It's got to be big. I'm not going to do just a get together. So it's got to be large for us to put on a convention or whatever, a conference convention, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be at a destination place where we can all go, learn a lot and have a great time, for us to do it. But give that guy credit. He is getting going. He is getting started. That's awesome. So that's great. He's getting out there and he's getting with it. So one of the things I mentioned before is dabbling, how we don't dabble. And we're in kind of the same boat right now. We've hit a very unique idea that could really change the way service providers, again, start their business, grow their business, get in business, expand, reach customers, get jobs booked, do their scheduling, invoicing. We've hit on something real unique. We've proven this is working. We've proven a concept. We've gotten a beta test done, and it's been successful. And we're excited to expand this out to every major city in the U.S. and Canada. We're already taking steps right now to build pages, to build a web presence in that area. So, and that's part of our pay-per-job program right now for junk removal companies right now. And the waiting list, it is over. We are now bringing on more people, but we're having to do it in the order of the people we have on our waiting list. So I've got a voicemail I got to call back in just a bit. Got a Johnson City, Tennessee, wanting to get on as a pay-per-job customer. We got places in Miami, Hampton, Virginia, Tacoma, Washington, Oklahoma City, St. Petersburg, San Antonio, Centerville, VA, Baltimore, and I can't remember if I said it, Miami. All those places are on a waiting list for pay-per-job. It's filling up, guys. It's filling up. And take very limited vendors per city. You have to qualify. You got to be able to do same or next day service, and really going to start cracking down on that same or next day service. I've said it before, 20% of our jobs are same or next day. We've got to, we have people tell us they can do same or next day, and then they can't. They're missing out on income. They're missing out on great growth potential. They're missing out on repeat business and referral business. And we've got a lot of money tied up in pay-per-click advertising, search engine optimization, and all the stuff we do without getting any income, because we only get paid when a job gets scheduled. So we've hit on something that's working. Paper job, if you want to be a part of it, you better give us a call at 919-617-1975, because it's filling up fast. And we anticipate to be in every major market throughout the country by spring of next year. Every major market, and in Canada. We are doing this in Canada, and well, it's a little bit more expensive in Canada because of the exchange rate. It's $90 per job in the U.S. I think it's like $120 per job or something in Canada, 120 Canadian dollars. So get on board. But what I'm saying is we could dabble with it, and we would never make it a success. What's going to wind up having to happen is going to have to probably put about $100,000 into building this thing, and that could be low. So luckily, we've got the money. I think it's going to be $100,000 almost immediately. It's going to have to be put towards it to build it up. And then basically the money that is being made off junk doctors, I'm gonna have to tell my wife she's gonna have to hold off on the Jeep upgrades, and then I'm gonna have to hold off on fixing up airplanes and old cars and stuff like that, like I've been doing, and we're gonna have to really tighten up. Because every leftover penny after feeding us and doing whatever, we're going to have to cut back on entertainment. Because every single little penny left over is going to go into this project. The money she makes coaching volleyball, she makes pretty good money doing private volleyball lessons, coaching volleyball. That right there is probably that's going to have to be put towards this project. All of our resources are going to have to be put towards this project because we're not going to dabble. We're going to grow it big. We're going to get a lot of exposure. We're going to build something great, something everybody wants to work with. It's such a unique position right now is we've got people contacting us saying, wanting, almost pitching us to do business with us. And that's a very unique thing. That's not something you're really going to get. That's not something you're going to get in junk removal. But it's really cool right now because, I mean, we've got people we've turned away. You know, like, you don't meet our qualifications yet. Here's what you need to do to be our provider in that market. But you better hurry up because somebody out there is going to reach out to us, and somebody out there is going to take that spot. Time is of the essence. That's really neat. We've hit on something that's great, and now we're going to take every penny we make off that. We're going to take every penny that's left over from junk doctors, and it's going to be pushed in. It's going to be, it's money we've built up an account. All of that is going to be released into this awesome, awesome, awesome product and service that's really going to help out every service provider that participates in it and uses it. It's going to make their lives a lot easier. There's going to be less phone calls that have to be made that are taken. It's going to make scheduling a lot easier because the scheduling software is going to be so tremendous. It's going to be better than anything that they've, it's really out there. It's going to be at least as good as the best thing that's out there, and eventually it's going to be a hell of a lot better. And it's going to be available for either free for pay-per-job customers or extremely cheap. We haven't worked out all the pricing details yet, and because there's a lot of ongoing expense and all to support something like that. So that's what we've got going on. That's what we're working. We're starting. We want to see you starting. You can do that. $7,500 startup package right now. Full. You get all of our operations manuals that we've accumulated all over the years. You get the virtual training series that what we've developed so far, plus what we're going to develop over the next several months as well. Those videos are yours to keep. It comes with testing. It's virtual training, or it's testing. It's video training and testing. You can use that for your employees that you hire. So all of your employees can go through training to understand what they're doing before they actually ever have to get on the truck. You're not having to take your time to spend hours and hours and hours on personally training them for stuff not related to lifting junk. I mean, obviously the truck stuff they're going to have to figure out, but as far as how are these jobs priced, what's important, how do you greet a customer? When are situations where, what are special situations where a job looks like it might be simple, but all of a sudden it isn't? Where are liability? What's some liability situations? How do you do get rid of a hot tub? How do you remove a piano? How do you properly use an appliance dolly? If you're answering the phone, when they're making courtesy calls, how do you make proper courtesy calls? What are special situations on job quotes where the job's going to be a lot more expensive? Like, what if somebody is using for general labor to help sort items and junk removal? How do you quote that? What are situations, what are materials you need to charge more for? This is stuff relevant to employees. And then on the other end, and employees can benefit tremendously from those videos. Somebody that goes through this testing, they've spent some time going through this. There's a good chance they're going to wind up being a decent employee. And then on your end, how do you keep the books? How do you market? That's big. You got to get your name out there. How do you market? And how do you train employees? How do you hire employees? And then it just covers a lot of mistakes we've made along the way. Insurance covers all the information on insurance. All that stuff is covered in those manuals and those video training series. $7,500 includes up to 5 days of training on the truck training at Junk Doctors of Raleigh, up to 5 days. And then 10 hours worth of consulting. So right there at $7,500, we estimate it's probably at minimum $100,000 worth of value you're getting in mistakes we made along the way. So those of you who want to commit, you don't want to dabble, that's your first step. Give us a call, 919-617-1975. Get on that business package, and we're going to get you in business. We're going to be not only consulting with you, we're going to be cheerleading you and pushing you. We're going to be motivating you to get into business. So the other thing with not dabbling is it's going to require a major commitment. You need to be willing to be successful in your market. You need to be willing to do what your competition is not willing to do. For example, answer phones 24/7 or hire a call center. We've got one. We've got one that can book your jobs. So you need to be willing to answer the phone all the time to get those jobs scheduled. Guys, I've answered phones at 3:30 in the morning. I've answered phones on our honeymoon. I've answered phones in the middle of having sex. I've answered phones. I walked out of church one time to answer a phone. I have literally answered phones in every single situation when a lot of people thought it was rude as hell. And when it was imposing on the people I was around, I've answered that phone. When I did not want to, I have answered that phone because on junk removal jobs, it is critical. On JRA, if you call JRA, we might not the JRA paper job line or the JRA call center numbers or anything like that. But if you call Junk Removal Authority, we might not pick up. If you call my cell number nowadays, because I got people answering the critical calls, I might not answer if I'm in the middle of something. If I'm rolling through something, I might not pick up. Because on Junk Removal Authority stuff, people looking to get into business, people looking for consulting and all like that, people looking for paper job, they'll leave a message. We'll call them back when the time is right, quickly, but when the time is right. We're not going to drop everything we've got going on because we got a real tight schedule to grab that call. Somebody can leave a message, we'll call it back. Guys, junk removal, that's not the case. You miss that call, they go on down Google. They go on down the list to the next company. I can't tell you, there's no telling how beneficial that has been to our business, the fact we answer our phone at all times. All times. You got to be willing to go out there and work a job till midnight. You know, if you got a big job, the customer's got to get done that night. We've had crews roll in at midnight. I've rolled in at midnight. You got to be willing to do those jobs. You got to be willing to have a larger service area, guys. You got to be willing to drive. You got to be willing to take a chance to get out there, drive 40, 50 miles, and somebody not to do the job. There's a lot of big jobs out there you're missing out on if you're only doing a 20, 25-mile service radius. You need to be doing 40 to 50 miles, depending on your location and your traffic. Some places in California, maybe 35 miles. But those of you out there doing real small service areas, you need to expand a little quicker. You know, if you get to the point where you can't keep on time because you're so busy, you got such a large service area, that means you need to add some trucks, you need to add some people, you need to add routes. That way you got one truck that stays up north, you got one truck that stays on the south or east and west, and then eventually you need to be 3, 4, 5, 6 trucks in a market. And then before you know it, you can have a 50-mile radius, and you can have zones, and your fuel expense is going to be less than when you were doing a 25-mile radius. It's smaller. If you don't get started in those outer areas, though, you're not going to pick up a reputation. You're not going to get big enough. You're not going to hit enough large jobs to get to that point. So you do a lot of things that cost you money. You do a lot of things you don't make money on to become super successful in this business. That's the sacrifice that's got to be made. And if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, then you're probably not a good candidate for the JRA way. You got to be willing to spend a lot of money on advertising, guys. A lot of money on advertising. Getting a customer is critical. Without customers, you don't have a business. And you just charge enough where you can afford to spend a lot of money on advertising. Don't throw money away on advertising. Use proven methods. Proven methods. Pay-per-click is proven. SEO is proven. Social media is proven. Those are the main proven ways of marketing. Then just getting out there and getting your name known by other business owners, apartment complexes, join the apartment association in your area, participate in chamber of commerce meetings, all that kind of stuff. Direct sales, that stuff is proven. I wouldn't do any print advertising. I wouldn't do TV. I wouldn't do radio until you can afford to spend a bunch of money on radio. Radio is a prime example of do not dabble. If you dabble in radio, if you decide, well, I'd like to do radio, but I'm only going to show it 2 o'clock in the morning, unless you're selling a taxi service or a sex product, you better not be advertising at 2 a.m. in the morning. So, you need to be on when people are listening, prime time. You need to be home when people are driving home. You need to be home while they're on lunch. You need to be home when they're going into work. Not home. You need to be on in those situations. So, and you need to do it for a long period of time. Radio advertising is old school advertising. It is branding. It is getting your name known where people know it. Got Junk's gotten good at it. Got Junk's been doing radio commercials for 2 years. We've gotten business from it because people do a Google search for 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And there we are. Yours truly's right there. We get questions. We get stuff all the time. How'd you hear about us? Heard you from radio. We had never run a radio ad. And I'd say that's weekly. How'd you hear about us? Radio. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. And they're like, yeah, that's a great catchy commercial. And we're like, yeah, we put a lot of work into that. So, we don't, radio's not something you want to dabble on. Pay-per-click ain't something you want to dabble on. once you have the proven method, you got to roll with it. And that's one of the nice things about pay per job with JRA is we've eliminated all the waste spend. You're going to get great ad placement, a lot of exposure, a lot of impressions, and we're going to get a lot of clicks that we have to pay for. We're going to get a lot of phone calls we got to take, but we're going to book you a shit ton of jobs too, because we got people that are trained to book those jobs. We got a website that converts, and we got ad copies that people freaking click on. So pay per job, guys, it's a very, very select availability left. You need to let us know if you want on board, because that train is fast departing the station. You got to be willing to work 7 days a week, whether you're doing jobs. You got to be, those of you ain't doing jobs on Saturday, you got to do jobs on Saturday. Saturday is our busiest day of the week. A lot of people call for same-day service on Saturday, too. If you can't do it today, you can't do it Saturday, you can't do it on Sunday, then yes, so well, you are shit out of luck, and they're going to go on to somebody else that can. You got to be desperate. You got to be committed. You got to make sacrifices here, guys. If you ain't going to do it, you ain't going to win in the game. You ain't going to make a huge junk removal company. You're going to be an also-ran. People look at us, junk doctors, how the hell did you get to $2 million a year in sales? Guys, we were willing to do what others weren't willing to do. We're still willing to do what others aren't willing to do. And that's it's the point now. You're not going to beat us in the market we're in, unless somebody goes in and says, I don't freaking care about making a profit. I just want to down junk doctors. And they're going to come in, they're going to spend $1 million on advertising or something now in a year, something stupid. Just to beat us. You're not going to beat us at this point. We've gotten too large. You need to have that sense of desperation. If you're in a market, if you're the only local guy in your market, or you're one of the few local ones in your market that are serious players, you need to make a commitment to freaking blow up and dominate your market. Get so large that the franchises that ignored you because they thought there's no way this little hauler's going to outdo us. We're number one in North Carolina now. No junk removal company out there does more business in junk removal than we do. Raleigh, Charlotte, and Greensboro. Nobody does any more. Got Junk. We've got more trucks than Got Junk. We do more business than Got Junk. We kick Got Junk's ass in this area. Are they going anywhere? No, we're not going to run Got Junk out of business. They're too big. They've got too much name recognition. And they do decent work. Extremely expensive. A little bit more expensive than we are. They're more expensive. But they got that name recognition rolling for them. But you got to get to the point. And they're prestigious. Believe it or not, we had our partner in West Palm say, he was like, man, I know I missed out on work because even though we're cheaper, we're talking about cheaper prices, we know of people that have chose Got Junk because they're in $1 million home. They don't want their neighbors seeing his truck there, one of his trucks, when they could with Got Junk. Got Junk is the prestigious company. So how do you get to that level, though? Junk Doctors has gotten to that prestige. We've gotten to that level. It's taken us a while. We've gotten to the level. You've got to build it large. You've got to learn to dominate your market for junk removal. Once you get to a certain size, if you keep that level of desperation, you keep making investments, you keep investing in your business, you keep growing it, then nobody's going to be able to take you down once you get to that point. If you get content and you start offering shitty service and cutting way back on your advertising budget, they'll beat you. But if you keep doing what you've been doing and you learn new stuff and do some stuff that maybe you haven't been doing too, you get large enough, you're not going to get beat. But the problem is it's tough to be multiple people with that aggressive approach in the same market in junk removal because it gets really expensive. Everything gets really expensive. So time is of the essence. Get started right now. Get desperate right now. Make sacrifices right now to build up a dominant junk removal business in your market. We can help you out with pay per job, 919-617-1975. Dave Ramsey, everybody knows who Dave Ramsey is, or most people do. I'm not a huge fan of Dave. Well, I don't dislike Dave, but there's a lot of what Dave says that I disagree with because of who I am, what I've got going on. Is he right for 99% of people? Hell yeah, he's right for 99% of people. 99% of people need to drink Dave's Kool-Aid until they start puking it out because a lot of what he's saying is correct. But for a few select people, 1% of the population or whatever, or maybe 5% of the population, 10% of the population, Dave ain't right for him. In a lot of ways, but he doesn't try and appeal. He's doing stuff right too. You can't try to appeal to everybody. Just like I'm not trying to appeal to the people that DFW resonates with. He has a large percentage of people, maybe the majority of people. You look at the number of followers. Hell, he's got 3,000. I've got 440, 450, 420, something like that. So he's been doing it 8 years. I've been doing it 6 months, but. It could be a large percentage of the population that appeals to. But there's a percentage, they're gonna roll with me, and they're gonna blow up. They're gonna be super successful, make a bunch of money in this business, make something they can sell, and have a lot of freedom in their life. Not early on, this first couple of years, you're gonna make sacrifices. DFW is gonna be a little easier his first couple of years, his way of doing things, first 2 years or whatever. But by year 3, you got some big time money. You got some great money starting to roll in year 3. Normally $80,000 to $120,000 profit left over between salary profit, $80,000 to $120,000. By year 5, $200K plus is what very, very well doable, and that's after your salary. That is business profit. You could be making $80,000, $100,000 a year, or you could be making about $60,000 or $70,000 a year. Have you a full-time manager making another $60,000 or $70,000, and you have about $200,000 plus left over. From business profit. Then you got a business worth $1 million. If you want to go out there and sell it for $1 million, you can. We can't guarantee any of those numbers, obviously, but those are numbers we've seen. Those are numbers we believe to be possible if you're willing to make that huge commitment. So Dave does have one saying right, and that is, live like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. What he means is right now, make sacrifices. If you have to live in the warehouse, live in your warehouse. If you have to live in your office, live in the office on an air mattress. Elon Musk did it. When Elon Musk started his first company, he couldn't afford a house. He rented the business office he was renting. He had a cot. He had an air mattress that he slept on. There was a closet that he would stick his air mattress in. He kept a couple clothes. When the employees would come in in the morning. He still sleeps at his warehouse now. He's got a bed at his factory, the Tesla factory, and at SpaceX factory now. Employees would come in and they'd kick him. When the first employee that got in would kick him, he'd wake up, he'd get to work. So, because he would work, he might work till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then employees would start rolling at 7 or 8. They'd kick him, and he'd wake up and go back to work. And I'm not saying a lot of us ain't Elon Musk. He's an incredible character, but he's willing to do what almost nobody's willing to do. And now he's capable of living, and he's capable of impacting the world and impacting the earth, and maybe impacting Mars, impacting human civilization probably more than anybody else is right now. And if he lives long enough, there's a good chance he will impact civilization. Nobody will have impacted civilization any more than Jesus. By the time Elon wraps up. So fascinating character. If you get a chance to look into Elon Musk, he's an unbelievable character. He's been a source of, like, some of y'all tell, I get people all the time, which is just 400 some followers that say, man, you're a huge inspiration to me. And that's awesome. That's great. And Elon is a little bit of an inspiration to me. I don't personally know him, but his vision and the way he takes them, it's not about the money for him. It's about making a huge impact, and that's just awesome to me, and that's not something that I get out of junk removal anymore. So we've got another step that we're running towards, and that's the nice thing if you're about going to the JRA way. If you get to that point, get to the point. A lot of you aren't going to think or will not think exactly like I do. Hopefully you follow the program, but you might get to the point you're making that money and you're happy, you're content and all like that. You don't want to go on the next thing. But if you decide you want to go on the next thing, you got a business you can sell $1 million. That's a nice little chunk of change to put into your next business, whatever that might be. Maybe it's working with us on what we've got going on. Who knows? So this has been one of the longer videos that I've ever put out. I'm sure a lot of y'all probably didn't make it to the 40-minute mark, which we're about to hit. But I just want to encourage each and every one of you, as soon as you stop watching this video, start putting something into motion. If it's going on uslegalforms.com or whatever, and getting your LLC established for your business. If it's getting on Craigslist looking for a truck, or trying to find a pickup truck and trailer combination. If it's calling JRA at 919-617-1975 to talk about doing a business package. or paper job program or something like that, go ahead and make a step towards starting your business. Get started right now. You know, if you don't start right now, you probably, or you know, if you don't start at this very moment, there's a good chance you never will. 919-617-1975, junkrA.com. Thanks, guys.